Good morning, dear students. Today we'll be starting with the Unit 5, and this unit pertains to employee safety, health and international human resource management. So moving on with the first topic, that is ethics. You must be hearing this word from a very beginning now, because in school we all have studied what is morals, what are moral principles and all. So ethics basically means a set of moral principles. Ethics tells us what is right, what is wrong, what is acceptable, what is unacceptable. Now, ethics at workplace simply means the use of ethical principles in conducting day-to-day business. There will be a lot of examples to come across in the further slides, so let me just move ahead for now. You must be thinking, why should we study ethics in human resource management? Why it is so important that they have dedicated a whole unit towards studying ethics at workplace? To answer this question, I have put forward three arguments. First is, ethics is not just a theoretical concept. It is a practical applicative process which a business person, which a decision maker, which an HR professional comes across very often. Second point is, ethical dilemmas are a very common feature of HR decisions. Let me first explain you what ethical dilemmas are. Ethical dilemmas are a problem, is a situation where we have two possible solutions, where we have two or more than two, for that matter, possible options, neither of which is absolutely acceptable from an ethical point of view. Let me explain it again. Ethical dilemma is a situation or is a problem where we have two or more than two solutions, but neither of the solutions are acceptable in ethical point of view. In Hindi, we generally refer to this as Dharm Sankat. Very relatable example of an ethical dilemmas is, these days you all know lockdown period is going on. Businesses are shut, but an employer is expected to pay the salary of their employees. Now, it is very easy for us to sit at home and argue that every employer should be paying salary for the lockdown period. But just think about the perspective of employers where they do not have any incoming income, and they might have to delve into their saving, they might have to delve into their funds to provide income to the employee. And the employee is not working, is not producing anything, is not doing anything productive, especially in the manufacturing sector, but still they are getting their incomes. That is what an ethical dilemma is, whether to pay to the employee or not. If an employer is paying to the employee, he is incurring huge losses because there is no productivity. While if the employer does not pay to the employee, then it is another very tough situation, because if the employer is not going to pay, how the employee is going to run his household? So the third argument is, good ethical conduct leads to good employee relations, and good employee relation again creates good companies. Whenever we think of good companies, a few that comes to our mind in India especially are Infosys and Tata. Barring a few incidents, both of these companies have been an epitome of good moral standards, good ethics, good code of conduct. Sometimes it is the conduct of a company, sometimes it's the values, the core values of the company that makes it so great that automatically its products, it not only meets our standard, it meets our philosophical standards as well. So these 3 points, that is, ethics is not a theoretical concept. Second, moral dilemmas are everywhere. Moral dilemmas are part of each and every HR decision. And third, good ethics creates good employee relation, and good employee relation creates good companies. These 3 points I hope are enough to explain to you why studying this particular topic is so important in human resource management. Moving ahead. Now, when I was telling you about workplace ethics, I did not give you many examples. Let me now give you a few examples. These examples is in form of a quiz, and this quiz has been created by the Wall Street Journal. Now, some of you might not be knowing what Wall Street Journal is. Wall Street Journal is a newspaper, very famous newspaper for that matter, which is based out of New York, and it has been in publication for a very long time now. I think the first edition was printed somewhere in 1889 or 1890. So what they did is they created a survey, and to tell you what the questions of the survey are, I just have prepared these questions into a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, let us see these questions. What I'll ask you to do right now is take a copy and a pen, and for each of the questions just write down your answers, and we'll then check it with the national average after the quiz ends. First is it wrong to use company email for personal reasons? Just write yes or no. Second question, is it wrong to use the office equipment to help your children or spouse do schoolwork? Pretty clear it is. Third, is it wrong to play computer games on office equipment during the workday? Just mark your answer for now. Fourth, is it wrong to use office equipment to do internet shopping? Fifth, is it unethical to blame an error you made on a technology glitch? Technology glitch means if you made some error and you just say, oh, I think it's just a typo, or oh, my screen was not working properly, so I could not see what it is. Something like that. You blame your error on technology or on network or something which is out of your control. Sixth, is it unethical to visit pornographic website using office equipment? Seventh, now here when it becomes very interesting. Now, seventh question is, what is the value at which a gift from a supplier or a client becomes troubling? See, when we are working, it is not very uncommon to receive gifts. Small gifts are just a token of appreciation. But the question is, at what values these gifts become unacceptable to you? Because the more expensive a gift is, the more impetus is paid upon asking for any discriminatory behavior. For example, if a vendor is giving you gift of rupees 10,000, definitely in the future he'll be expecting a preferential behavior from your end. So this question is, seventh question, that at what value gift from a supplier or a client becomes troubling. These were the options that they gave. It is in dollars because this was an American newspaper. Question 8, is a $50 gift to a boss unacceptable? Ninth question, is a $50 gift from the boss is unacceptable? See, the 8th question is, if you give something to your boss worth rupees $50, is it acceptable or unacceptable? And the 9th question is, if you receive a gift from your boss which is about $50 in value, is it acceptable or not? Moving ahead, 10th question is, of gifts from suppliers. Is it okay to take a $200 pair of football tickets? As you know, football is a big thing in America, and its tickets are very expensive. So, is it okay to take a $200 pair of football tickets? Question 11th, is it okay to take a $120 pair of theater tickets? And 12th question, is it okay to take a $100 $100 holiday food basket? So you have to answer accordingly. Next is question, is it okay to take a $25 gift certificate? Next is Can you accept a $75 prize won at a raffle at a suppliers conference? Raffle is kind of a lottery. So if you are going to a conference of suppliers, is it okay that you take a gift certificate that you won in a lottery worth $75, worth $75? $75 is not a big thing, but I think $75 is. Next is, due to the on-the-job pressure, have you ever abused or lied about sick days? Due to work pressure, sometimes it happens that we do not get enough leaves. Sometimes we do not get enough rest. So have you ever lied? Is it okay on your part to abuse or lie about sick days? And finally, question 16, due to the on-the-job pressure, have you ever taken credit of someone else's work or idea? And this is a very common ethical consideration. These are the 16 questions. Now what you have to do is, whether you have, whatever you have answered, you just match it with the national average in America and understand how many people think like you and how many people don't think like you. So I'll be sharing this this presentation as usual. Check it then. Now coming to ethics and law. But before coming to this topic, I would like you to do an activity for me. Now the activity is an interesting one and a very simple one. I have here a saying: we do not claim to be more unselfish, more generous, or more philanthropic than any other people. But we think we started on sound and straightforward business principles, considering the interest of the shareholders, our own, and the health and welfare of the employees, the sure foundation of our success. These words are the words of Shri Jamsetji Tata, the founder of the Tata Group. Your activity is pretty simple. You just have to visit the Tata Sons website, and from there you have to download their code of conduct. Now when you download their code of conduct, I would like you all to give it a reading, because it is probably the most beautifully drafted, most comprehensive document on workplace ethics that you are going to come across. It's a pretty big document, and I really do not expect you to read all of it very fast, but at least give it a good glance, give it a good read through a few pages, and then let me know. Now, food for thought before ending this particular session. Food for thought I would like to leave you with. Now you are a good painter. For example, I'll give you a situation. You are a very good painter and you have been offered a membership at an arts association. And as an active member of this association, you are expected to take a leave of absence. A leave of absence means you have to take a leave twice or thrice a month to fulfill the obligation of the member of the arts association. What should you do? Would you accept the offer? It is definitely sure that being an active member of any association will take a lot of time. You'll have to take leave out of your schedule. You'll have to take leave out of your normal day-to-day work and pursue the work of the arts association. The problem is, should you be telling your employer about it? Should you be working on his dime? This you'll have to think about, and we'll discuss this more when we have our Zoom classes. But for now, this is food for thought, that whether we should pursue another passion, whether we should pursue something that we are good at along with being on a job, because our attention will be divided into two places, our efforts will be divided into two places. And why should an employer be paying for something that is not beneficial for him? So this is all for now. We'll meet in the Zoom class and take up with the slide which was left here. Bye bye.